All right, so here's the deal. I am going to be probably accelerating these videos because as I look on my calendar here, my time is getting short to finish MechanicO and leave on the big trip. So we're going to move along a little faster. What I'm going to show you now is the next project on our list, but just a quick follow-up. I did get the luggage boxes back from the powder coater. As you can see, the insides of the lid and the box are all now black powder coat. That is so that you do not exfoliate on all your gear as they jumble around as you're driving with aluminum powder, and makes them good to clean, or easier to clean. I just did the inside because I like the look of aluminum on the outside, and I do not know why people buy or get black luggage boxes. It basically turns your luggage into easy bake ovens. So here is MechanicO in his current state. As you can see, a couple of updates. I have rebuilt the forks, new seals, new guides, new oil. I have put new bearings in the headset, quasi-mounted the bars for now. But what we need to do is work on the new dash setup. The old dash setup looks something like this and went there, but we're not using a lot of the same components, so we need to make a new one. Let's take a look at what is going to be the new dash. This is going to be a full-on overload of information and data, which is exactly how I like it. We got ourselves a new TripleTech 9 Android hardened outside or waterproof tablet. That is an amazing device. I hope to do a review of that later on a very nice mount, matter of fact. Very well engineered and machined. A Motec C125 dashboard connected to the computer to give me all my information I need. Motec keypad, my phone, and the glove warmer. Now the glove warmer and the phone kind of go away for what we're going to do. We need to make a mount, something like the old one, but for this new setup. So, lucky for us, we're going to computer model it. All right, so here you can see I quickly modeled up those three components you just saw. The green guy is the tablet, the blue guy is the keypad, and the, I guess, pink is the Motec dashboard. I've got us in clown color mode so that we can kind of helps to see what we're doing. Now, the back is also represents how they all interface to the plate we're about to make. So what I like to do, and I say that like I make dash plates all the time, is lay them out as I want them, and then I will make a plate behind it that will take them, receive them, and then we can remove those components and we end up with this. I did spend quite a lot of time on this because there are some bends. Actually, there's going to be two bends. There's one across here and one across here. But as you can see, there are cavities to receive all those devices. There's also a crap load of threaded M6 holes. This is something I've always wanted because I always find I want to bolt something to the dash, and now I've got 58 options to bolt stuff to the dash. So how do we make a plate like this? Because this is big. It does not fit on the Kurt vise. So how do we do it? This is how we're going to do it. So I'll explain these three plates of aluminum to you here in a second, but the first thing I like to do on a part like this is print it out and cut it out. This lets us, it's nice to see it in your hands. I could lay this, I actually had this on MechanicO to make sure it all fit, and it does, but it also lets us confirm how we're gonna make it. So how this works is, this piece of aluminum is what is actually going to be the part we are gonna make it out of. This plate of aluminum is gonna be operation 1 to cut the inside of this plate and all the threading and holes. And then this plate is going to be op number 2 where we cut the outside. I will show you that next. This is a big part, physically large, so we cannot just use the traditional vise that's on my mill. We have to basically remove the vise and clamp these to the table, which I'm about to show you. All right, now that we have everything mounted up in the mill, let's go over this. So This bottom aluminum plate is sacrificial. We'll be drilling and machining into that. The top plate is the actual part. You can see my cutout I've laid on here just to make sure everything fits and clears all our toe clamps. So we're going to be just machining the inside of the part. All these cavities, drill and tap all these holes, make these slots. We're not doing the outside. We'll do that on the second op. This one's got a lot of tools. I think we got 8 total tools. So let's see how op number 1 goes. Using a sacrificial plate like this is pretty typical for some of the parts I make. It lets you make a part real quick right now without any special features. However, it's expensive. I'm scrapping an entire plate of aluminum. You can use it 2 or 3 times, but eventually it just turns into Swiss cheese and you can't reuse it. My shop is full of plates like this to make one part. So it's not cost effective, but let's admit it, MechanicO was never designed to be cost effective. And if you've ever owned a motorcycle, they are definitely not cost effective. But the return on investment is excellent. Let's see how it came out. And there we are. Op 1 is done. We've got all our threaded holes. There is a lot of them. I think 59 threaded holes. I can't remember. More than I'd want to do by hand. All the cavities are machined out for all the stuff that's going to bolt in there. All right, so now we're going to remove this plate, put the vise back on, and do op number 2. All right, here's how op 2 works. I made another what I'll call a sacrificial plate that has some threaded holes in it, but the key to this plate is it has 2 pins pressed into it. And those 2 pins will take the plate from the first off and locate it. Let's see if we can do this with one hand. Locate it on that plate so that we know exactly where the center of our part is. And then I will just take a bunch of M6 screws like this and put them into those holes that I drilled into that subplate. And then we'll cut it out. Let me show you. Done. I have already removed all the screws holding it down. So here's the first time off the fixture. All right. That came out nice. So what we need to do now is do some bends. We have 2 bends we need to make on this so it will position itself on the dash properly. So let's go bend it. Here's how we're going to bend this plate. I've actually already done the 2 tabs on the bottom here. I had a small out of plane bend, but we're going to do the big one in the middle here. And so I laid up some bars, made some brackets that'll hold them in position. And what we do is we're going to place this in my hydraulic press about there. We take this large round piece of tube I have, and then we push down, and that will bend this plate up and give it a nice radius. I've made sure that everything is plane and perpendicular as best I can using my square so we get a straight bend. So let's find out how we do. Okay. I'm going to try to walk towards this and not do a super sharp bend. I've got the old one here to compare, and actually we might try just that. So let's see, because it's easy to do a couple of bends towards where you want to be, but to unbend is not as fun. There we go. Let's take a look. All right, I won't bore you with the details, but I did have to do a total of 3 passes on the bender to get it to the angle that I wanted, which was kind of close to the match of the angle I had before. But at the end of the day, it looks very good. So what we're going to do now is we are going to test fit all the components, and then I need to make a mount for the grips, heated grips, and the phone unit coming up. All right, everyone, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm getting ready to go, and that time is now. So what you're going to see is a lot of an acceleration on the prepping of MechanicO. There's been a big leap in time since the last clip you just saw. So let's start from there, and then I'm going to show you a bunch of the other upgrades that I just didn't have the time to pull the camera out and show you how I fabricated them, but I think you got an idea how I do it. So let's go over it. First one is the cockpit is complete. Here you can see we got the triple tech mounted on that new plate with the Motec dash operating, our keypad, our glove, our handlebar grip warmer, and our phone mount, which is a quad lock. Really like that. All mounted on that plate system that we made. Obviously we have the windshield in there. That box in there is actually housing all my USB connections, trying to make them waterproof. We'll see how long that lasts because I have 2 USB cables tied up here, trying to keep them from flopping around. But as you can see, the whole front end, if not most of MechanicO, is now assembled. All right, and another giant project. I did not show you how I fabricated it, so you'll have to use your imagination, is this guy right here. This is an aluminum tube with 3 points of mount, which is what you want in something like this. And it's got a cap, and I'll show you what's inside there. And it holds 2 of these, what are basically half-liter bottles. One's going to be engine oil. The other one's going to be gasoline. Gasoline for either my cook stove or just half a liter of gas. What we have inside here is I made this cap system that indicates it also has foam in it so that when it closes, it doesn't rattle. There's no rattling. I hate rattling. Don't want rattling. Nobody wants it. It's on a tether. It's lockable. And what we have inside is my tripod. Holds the tripod safely and quickly to get to. If I don't want to run the tripod in there, I obviously can put other stuff, but you can get plastic tool tubes or whatever they call them, and I think they're atrocious. They break, they crack, they don't survive. They work for a while and then they don't. Everyone I know who's had one has had it eventually break. In worst case scenario, break and fall off on the road and you lose everything that was in it. So anyways, that is my my tool tube, and there's actually only one way it goes on, like that. All right, here's another side project I didn't show you, but this was actually what I call my analog communication device. This is something I made for my Cuban trip, and this is a holder that holds, and it's stuck, this grease board here, 2-sided grease board. So I was able to pull this out, write people's names on it, take photos of them. I guess I used this in my muffler video, closed and open. Anyways, it was great on my trips. I enjoyed it. I think people did. However, this one was essentially a proof of concept, and I don't like things made out of wood. My friends who work with wood, I always tease that wood is for burning, not assembling. But anyways, so I went ahead, put that one aside, and made a really nice carbon fiber one. This one houses a slightly nicer, svelter 2-sided grease board with the pen attached to it. And like I said, it's made of carbon fiber and aluminum and a stainless steel tab to hold it on the bike. Definitely lighter, definitely stronger, not made of wood. This will work out a lot better and survive the big trip. At least I hope so. Okay, like I said, I'm on the verge of leaving here, so I'm going to wrap up this episode. We're going to do one more because we have to do one more thing to MechanicO that is incredibly important, and then this rocket takes off. So wait for the next episode to see what that is.